You probably already know that polar bears are well suited to life in the Arctic. After all, they're found nowhere else on the planet. And when you look at their thick fur coats and layers of blubber, it's not hard to imagine them thriving in sub-zero temperatures. But there's a lot more to these bears than meets the eye. So today you'll learn why polar bears are the kings of ice. Hi, and welcome to this channel. First up, let's talk about how polar bears got so good at skating. Like most bears, polar bears don't have completely smooth paw pads. Instead, they have rough pads with short, stiff spines called papillae. These are great for gripping the ice as they skate. But if you want to be an efficient skater, you need more than just grippy pads. You also need flexibility. A polar bear's front paws can flex, which makes their skating more fluid. In other words, polar bears were born to be on the ice. But what about swimming? Well, surprisingly, polar bears are pretty good swimmers too. They can easily reach speeds of 6 kilometers per hour. That's almost as fast as Olympic swimmer Ryan Murphy. To move through the water, they paddle with their large front paws, which are webbed like an otter's. Their hind feet are connected by a membrane, so they basically act like paddles too. And unlike most bears, polar bears don't have 6-inch claws. This makes it easier for them to maneuver underwater. With all these awesome adaptations, it's no wonder polar bears can swim up to 10 kilometers in a single day. That's the equivalent of swimming from California to Las Vegas. Now that we've covered how polar bears move on and in the water, let's talk about how they breathe underwater. After all, they spend lots of time in the frigid waters of the Arctic Ocean. When polar bears swim, they breathe through tiny holes in their skulls called external nares. These open up into internal cavities lined with blood vessels. So the blood vessels absorb oxygen from the air in the cavities and then transport it around the body. Once the blood has delivered the oxygen to the rest of the body, it gets sent back to the polar bear's lungs where it picks up carbon dioxide and then leaves the body through those same external nares. Pretty neat trick. Speaking of tricks, polar bears have some seriously cool camouflage. Take a look at this bear's fur. It might look white, but it's actually transparent. Each strand is hollow and about the width of a human hair. And because they're so thin, they reflect and refract light in a similar way to a soap bubble. This means that a polar bear's fur reflects the sky, which is blue, or the snow, which is white. This helps hide the bear's outline from seals and other animals that live in the Arctic. And polar bears aren't just masters of blending in. They're also masters of holding their breath. While swimming, they can stay underwater for an impressive 5 minutes. And once they surface, all they have to do is shake off the water, fluff up their fur to trap a pocket of warm air close to their body, and then wait for their next meal. You might think that eating nothing but fish and the occasional seal could get boring, but polar bears don't seem to mind. And who can blame them? Seals are high in fat and protein, making them a nutritional powerhouse. A single adult polar bear can eat up to 4,000 calories worth of blubber in one sitting. And if you're wondering how polar bears find their food under all that snow and ice, the answer is pretty simple. They have excellent senses of sight and smell. Polar bears have proportionally larger brains than any other bear species, and their brains are specialized for hunting. The parts of their brains responsible for vision and smell are simply bigger. And because the Arctic is so bright, polar bears have developed a dichromatic vision, meaning they see in two colors, blue and yellow. This gives them an advantage over animals like the gray whale, which only sees in shades of gray. So from their big brains to their blue-yellow vision, it's clear that polar bears are perfectly adapted to live in the Arctic Circle. They're the undisputed kings of ice. Thanks for watching. And if you want to learn more about animals, check out this playlist. And if you like this video, be sure to hit the like button.